Karanlıklar içinde birden aklıma gelen o şiirden üzgünüm dökülen.
Merhaba, benim adım Ezildin. Genelde burada İzzet diye geçiyor. Daha kolay ve aynı anlamda olduğu için. Iraklıyım. 2015'te Türkiye'ye geldim. Ve Irak'tan gelme sebebim savaştan dolayı ve mezhep ayrımcılıklarından dolayı. Ailemle yaşıyorum. Sinop'ta yaşıyorum. Bu da Türkiye'de 7. senem. Sinop'a seçme sebebimden bahsedeyim. Ya da gelme sebebimden bahsedeyim. Büyük şehirde yaşamayı denedim. Bir ay boyunca. Ama orada farklı insanlar, yabancı olduğumu söyleyince insanlar farklı bir bakışla bakıyordu. Büyük şehirde iyi insan olduğumu gösterebilmem için çok fazla çaba sarf etmem gerektiğini düşündüm. O yüzden Sinop'u tercih ettim. Ve çok iyi bir tercih yapmışım. Çünkü Sinop'ta hemen hemen gerçekten bir ev gibi olduğunu hissetmeye başladım. Büyük çevrem var, çok fazla arkadaşlarım var. Buraya geldiğimden beri yaşadığım en büyük zorluktu aileme bakmak diyebilirim. Yani küçük yaştan inşaatta çalışmak ya da böyle ağır işler yapmak insanı çok değiştirebiliyor. İnsanın düşünceleri de değiştirebiliyor. Ama yine de iyi ki öyle işlere girmişim. İyi ki öyle yollardan geçmişim. Bu dünyaya bir daha gelme şansım olursa yeniden aynı yolu seçerdim diye düşünüyorum. Çünkü gerçekten bana çok kattı. Zor olduğu kadar da çok da güzel şeyler kattı. Düşünce olarak, insan yapısı olarak, empati, daha çok empati kurabiliyorum şu an çalışan insanlara ya da biri bana ne kadar bu işleri yaparak ne kadar yorgun olduğunu söyleyince ve onu küçük yaşta yapmak bence benim için bir şanstı. Sinop'ta birçok Sinoplu'dan belki daha büyük çevre edindim. O da yabancı olduğum için olabilir. Çünkü birçok insanın aklında bir kere görüşsek bile kalabiliyorum. O da beni sevindiriyor. Hatta bu yılda kendi işimi kurmak istediğimde ve istediğim işi yapmaya başladığımda birçok kişi bana destek oldu. Arkadaşlarımdan, tanıdığım işletmecilerden, Hepsi bana manevi olarak destek verdi. Sinop'ta da birçok farklı ülkelerden, farklı kültürlerden insanlarla tanıştım. Bir gün kahvede çalışırken, küçük bir kahve dükkanında her gün bir tane kadın gelirdi ve yanında yabancı insanlar, farklı kültürlerden insanlar. Ve bir gün kahve siparişi verirken yanındaki yabancı arkadaş benimle İngilizce konuşarak sipariş vermeye çalıştı. Ben de İngilizce'de geri cevap verdiğimde çok sevindi. O zaman da arkadaş olduk. Daha fazla da muhabbet ettik. O da Erasmus Plus projesiyle geldiğini söyledi. Kısa film çekmek için Sinop'ta. Ve o projeleri yazan kadın benim orada mentor olarak gönüllü olmamı istedi. O da benim için çok büyük bir fırsattı. Yeni insanlarla, yeni kültürlerle tanışmak için. Şu an birçok ülkeden farklı arkadaşlarım var. Birçok kültüre hakim oldum. Şu an yani birçok ülkeye gitmiş kadar bilgi edinebildim. Ondan sonra Sinopale diye bir bienal olduğunu fark ettim. Daha doğrusu duydum. Orada birçok farklı ülkelerden sanatçıların bir yerde buluştuğunu öğrendim. Çok ilgimi çekmişti. Orada da gönüllü olarak katıldım. Hal binasında genelde yapılıyordu projeler. Sunumlar, sergiler. Yani hal benim için bir farklı kültürlerden, farklı yerlerden, farklı ülkelerden, farklı düşüncelerle, farklı insanların bir yerde buluştuğu bir alandır. O yüzden her şey halde başladı diyebilirim. Gözlerim dünyaya ilk halde açtım gibi hissettim. O sanata ilgimi orada keşfetmiş oldum. Yeni kültürler hakkında öğrenmeye ya da yeni insanlarla tanışmaya sevdiğimi orada öğrendim. O yüzden hatta şu an yaptığım projenin ismi de Hal Studios diye adı koydum. O kadar anlamlı benim için. Yani insanları beni şunu olarak tanımalarını hep istemiştim. Belirsizlikten bir yol çizmiş bir insan, hayatını düzene oturtmuş. Belirsizlikten hayatını düzene oturtmuş bir insan olarak tanımasını istedim. Bu hedefi de hala ulaşmaya çalışıyorum ama yakın olduğumu hissediyorum.
My name is Fatima. I'm 27 years old. I am originally from Morocco. I come from the south of Morocco. It's a long way from Turkey. I work here as an English teacher. I currently work as an English instructor at a Turkish university. Today I'm going to tell my story of how I ended up here and how my life as a foreigner in Turkey. My story is just like the story of any aspiring Moroccan student who wants to make a change in a community. I was studying language. I was studying English as a second language at university. I finished my bachelor's degree and then I enrolled in a master's degree in education, especially in second language acquisition. I did graduate and then I decided it's time for me to I don't know, broaden my horizon, leave the country, discover myself and other communities. So I applied for Erasmus program as a volunteer. So I looked up some projects. There were so many, and it was really hard to choose between different Turkish cities. But there was an Erasmus project in Sinop. This project really struck my attention because it was a project about disabled children. So in this project, I was going to work with disabled children. It was something I was really interested in since I studied education. So I applied and I got accepted and I came to Sinop. The project was for 2 months only. I worked in a rehabilitation center. It was one of the most challenging experiences of my life. I mean, people think that Erasmus is just having fun, and it is actually like meeting new people and having the best time of your life. But for me, it wasn't like that at the beginning. There was a culture shock element. I didn't know what I was doing. I was a recent graduate. I had no idea about disabilities. I didn't know how to communicate with the kids. Once I went back home, that's a reverse culture shock. It was unbearable. I went back home for 1 month and I renewed my passport and I immediately came back here. But before I did that, I made sure I had something to come back to here. So I searched for private schools and I applied and I got a job in a private school. Well, I didn't know for sure if I got the job, so I went back home and then I got a response. They telling me that I got it, they are willing to take me for the job. And I got my papers done and I came back to Sinop. It's a different phase, the phase of being an Erasmus volunteer. It was during summer, it was beautiful, just living the life. But then this stage of my life was different. This time I was a full-time teacher in a private school. I had a lot of classes and I had a different life. So I got myself an apartment and I had a roommate and I started to live the adult life. I was still a recent graduate. It's my first full-time job in a Turkish school, private school. It was not easy. It was not glamorous. It was really challenging. I was not an experienced teacher, but that's when my career in EFL started. I spent 1 year in that school, and after that, I knew it was time for me to move to the next stage. So I decided I want to leave Turkey. I wanted to leave Sinop. Okay, so I was talking about my experience in a private school, in a Turkish private school. So after that, it was a really challenging year. I worked as a full-time teacher. It was not as my Erasmus experience. So the job was not what I actually expected, but that's where Sinop comes into play. Now I wanted to go, I wanted to leave, I wanted to explore many other options that I have. I knew I had many other options in Europe, in Asia, as an EFL teacher. But that's the thing about Sinop. Sinop, I call it a magnetic city. It's like Sinop is pulling you, you want to leave, but it keeps pulling you to stay. So I had a decision between leaving Sinop and staying. Staying comes with a lot of challenges and difficulties, and leaving comes with heartbreak, I would say. All my friends are here. I don't have many friends left in Morocco, so my life was here, basically. I had so many friends here, connections. I basically had a really, a stable social life. And leaving that was really difficult. So I had an amazing friend that helped me stay here. She opened a door for me, basically. She told me that there is a possibility for me to work in a Turkish university. So I said, no, I don't want to stay here. I don't want to work in a Turkish institution. I just feel like it's not for me. And she said, it's going to be different, I'm going to help you. And I got the job in the Turkish Sinop University, let me just call it Sinop University. I got the job, and it was that moment that I realized, okay, here is another year in Sinop. Let's see what it brings. So I was happy. I was really happy because my friends were here. My social life was like going on, and summer was amazing. Like the best summers I spent in my life are in Sinop. It's a very live city during the summer, especially. Okay, then I started working at university. It was nothing like a private school, a Turkish private school. It's exactly what I wanted for myself. Like it is still, I still work at Sinop University, and it's still a really good place for me to work. Yeah, so my life in Sinop basically is just work, and the shock that I actually lived was that my friends, my other foreign friends, started to leave Sinop. So I felt like I was going to end up the only person staying in Sinop. I couldn't leave Sinop, like everybody was leaving, and I was the only one staying here. So I had other big decisions to make. But life had its own plans for me. So as a foreigner in Turkey, life can be very challenging for one reason. I was never interested, like I was actually interested in learning the language. Well, I had the basic knowledge of Turkish language, but I never thought that I needed to develop that level, an advanced level in Turkish, because I didn't really need it, nor in my workplace, nor like in my social life, because most of my friends, like all my friends are foreigners, everybody speaks English. But then when my friends started to leave, I started having difficulties in Sinop because, truth to be said, Turkish people would feel a lot more closer to you if you speak Turkish. If you don't speak Turkish, people would be distant, and you wouldn't be treated the same if you don't speak Turkish. So that's when it clicked, and I knew I had to work hard on improving my Turkish language. So I did. I worked really hard. It was not easy. I knew I had to speak more Turkish. I was not confident at all, and I did. And life started to be a little bit bearable and easy in Sinop, since people are so generous, people are so nice when they see you, a foreigner who works really hard to kind of communicate something in their language, in Turkish. So I got a lot of positive feedback, and people started treating me different. People were really nice, people wanted to get to know me, where I came from, and they didn't feel insecure or threatened by my presence. But if I were to go to a coffee shop or somewhere and speak in English, people would feel really uncomfortable, and I wouldn't get the same, reaction. But now that I started speaking Turkish and felt a little bit comfortable with it, I knew I was not perfect. People would still, think that my Turkish is a little bit funny, or they would just say it's cute. Yes, my life was a lot better when I learned Turkish. So that's the thing about the Turkish culture. When you speak the language, people are more likely to interact with you. Your life is more likely to be easier as a foreigner. So I really can't imagine what it's like for my other foreign friends who can't speak Turkish. It must be really hard. So yeah, that's what, in Sinop especially, Sinop is a place where there are not so many foreigners. So it's really challenging to keep up a social life if you don't speak Turkish. As a woman, I know it's really challenging. It's not easy being a foreigner, a woman foreigner in a different country. You have to consider a lot of things. You have to think about protecting yourself, thinking about how the society views you. You have to abide by the rules and so many other things. I'm just saying that even those things are always challenging for us as women. For young women out there, you can do more than you think you can. So just make that first step, and the rest will just come.
içinde birden aklıma gelen o şiirden üzgünüm dökülür o sözler. Üstüne kurduğun bu şehir hep tuzaklarla gelir, gösterir yüzünü. Bu zehir